Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to your Chelsea news. Wesley Fofana talks about Enzo Maresca and his recent fitness. A deal has been agreed for Chelsea and a new centre-back, and Chelsea finally secure a front of shirt sponsor. Now, of course, I'll be giving my own thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported, but more importantly, I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. And before we get into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content. We're on the road to 15k by the end of the season. You can also use the new YouTube hype feature, which pushes this video out to a bigger audience. Kicking things off, Chelsea recently interviewed Wesley Fofana, and he starts off by saying this: I feel very good now. I'm working hard to stay fit, to stay strong, and to continue to help the team win. In football, it's hard to take your time because there is a game every 3 days. But he, Maresca, protects me and pushes me in a good way. Now, I find this very interesting. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys regarding Wesley Fofana because he's been one of our players that have this famous phrase, he is so good when he stays fit. And it's a famous phrase among Chelsea fans and in Chelsea Football Club because we have so many injury-prone players. However, I personally feel like Wesley Fofana is one of our best centre-backs, and I know that Enzo Maresca wants to have his partnership of Levi Colwill and Wesley Fofana. Unfortunately, last season, Fofana was injured around about this time last season, and now we have Levi Colwill out, who's on a good road to recovery, like a perfect plan as so far with the surgery he's just had on his ACL. So we know that Maresca is going through a load of centre-backs and trying to find the right partnership, and during that period, right at the start of the season, Fofana was injured. Now, he has came back, and he's had a decent run of games now. And I'm going to be honest, every game he's played, he's been so solid. Defensively aware, leading that back line. He's been, leading by example, making all those last-ditch challenges when needed. The recovery pace is there for him. And I'm really, really hoping, I'm touching wood, and I'm praying that he stays fit for as long as possible. Because I genuinely think that when he gets a consistent run of games, we start to see the best of Wesley Fofana. And I genuinely feel like this could be the season where he really shines, as long as he stays fit. And I know that that's that cursed phrase, but I'm hoping that Maresca is, this is the latest example of Maresca of what he did with Reece James, where, he goes over that massive injury list, he then eases him in, and he starts to stay fit and starts playing. We did mention this a few videos ago, it might have been yesterday, maybe in the video before, that it's hard to adapt a player's sort of play style and role in a game with certain positions. We spoke about it with Romeo Lavia. Now, the example is of Reece James. He's now no longer that right back that bombs up and down, but now he plays a bit more central as a right back when needed. He plays out and out as a right back, or he moves into midfield and he has them short distance runs, and his game is adapted where he's adapted to it, Maresca's adapted to it, and it's managed to have Reece James play 3 games a week and be fit for over 12 months. And it's a miracle to see, really. But if this is the new example of what he's doing with Wesley Fofana, then this is exciting times for Chelsea fans because we could finally see the best of Wesley Fofana after spending like 70 million on him a few seasons ago, and he's only been played a handful of games because of reoccurring injuries. Now, I'm a firm believer of how frustrating it is of having these players have injuries, but I still believe that there is time for these youngsters to get over these hurdles and have a good run of form. It does mean that their body has to adjust. They have to adjust their roles. They have to listen to the medical staff. There was a prime example last season where Fofana was told he was going to be out to a certain time. I think it was the April. And then Fofana came out and said, nah, I'm not. I'm going to be back earlier than that. I'm going to be back in March. And then he played and gets injured again. So I feel like there is a lot of moving parts with the medical team, Maresca's management of the player, and the players, listening and listening to their body, not only their body, but the medical team as well. But hopefully Wesley Fofana can stay fit because genuinely, he is so good. The last 2 Premier League games he's played, he's been absolutely solid. He's partnered Trevor. They've looked really, really good together. They've nullified the defenders, barely had any sniff at goal, and they've just been really good. They've just been really good. So I'm hoping that Wesley Fofana can stay fit. I genuinely hope he can, because this could be the season in the absence of Levi Colwill where we get to see the best of Fofana. Because last year it was almost like the reverse fixture where, Levi Colwill, we saw the best of him over the season where he grew into that role. But hopefully one day we will see Colwill and Fofana both playing very good football, being in form and playing as that partnership like we saw briefly this time last season before Fofana got injured and he was out for a long time. So I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below, because I speak about Fofana every now and then, and there's some fans that just don't rate him as a footballer. There's some fans that want to sell him because he is constantly injured, and I hear the frustrations, I really do, but I want to know people's genuine opinions, because I genuinely believe he's, you've got Fofana and Colwill as the best centre-backs at this club, and if he's playing well right now and he can stay fit, then I think he cements that place in terms of consistency. The natural rotation for me personally would be when Fofana is, signaling in that his body's maybe, is on the verge of an injury or a precautionary like Reece James does, you then swap him out for Josh Ashampong, almost like a like-for-like at that centre-back position, because I feel like Ashampong still deserves the opportunity, still deserves the minutes this season, and I feel like that would work very, very well to keep Fofana fit and replace him with another player that is very, very good technically and is really seizing the opportunities that he's getting. But I'd like to know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Wesley Fofana. Would you keep him? Would you sell him? Do you rate him? Do you not rate him? Very curious to know your thoughts. Team Talk have expanded their report regarding Chelsea wanting Adam Wharton this January. They said Chelsea have made Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton one of their priority targets. The England international is also admired by Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United and even Real Madrid, but Chelsea are currently seen as the frontrunners. Wharton is tied to Palace until 2029 and valued at around £60 million, meaning any deal could reach close to £100 million. Now, I'm not going to spend bundles of time on this piece because we spent a lot of time talking about Adam Wharton in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen it, feel free to go check it out. I just want to kind of talk about the complications. Now, Tim, a member of this channel who rocks up and watches every video every day, I really do appreciate you. He put a very important comment in the comment section yesterday, and I totally agree with what he's saying, but it also adds to more questions rather than answers. I was basically saying I don't see Chelsea dropping 100 M's in January for Adam Wharton. As much as I rate the player, I think he's fantastic. I think he'd be an incredible addition to our squad. It does raise a lot more questions. Now, even Tim was saying there was a report earlier, we've reacted to it, months ago, just at the end of the summer window, that Chelsea had put money away in reserves for the January window to improve the squad. And I back that. I'm like, cool, 100%, I totally get it. But I still don't feel like we're going to spend 100 M's. Now, what is quite interesting that currently Wharton is valued at £60 million. Now that seems like more of a realistic figure that Chelsea would be willing to spend on a player rather than closer to 100 mil. Now we have obviously seen them spend 100 mil plus on Enzo and Caicedo. I don't feel like we're going to see that very often, but they obviously have a lot of faith and we've seen how good these players are, right? Not saying that Adam Wharton can't live up and can't surpass them in terms of ability, but when you look at our current squad and the availability, yes, we have some injuries. Yes, we have selection issues in that sort of 6 role that he can play. He can also play in a bit of an 8 role as well. I just don't see how spending 100 mil makes sense, in my opinion, even if we have got the funds tucked aside. 60 million, though, does make things very interesting. And like I said, 60 million sounds like a figure that Chelsea would be more than happy to spend on a player like Wharton. And it makes a lot of sense to kind of get him out of his contract. It's just dependent on, one, what Arsenal, Liverpool, United and Madrid are going to offer for a player, because I feel like they are in more need of a player like Wharton than we are specifically. When you have the likes of Asugo coming back, Lavia, if he can stay fit, that famous phrase. Obviously, we still have Andre Santos who can play in those roles if needed. You still got Enzo Fernandez, etc. And obviously Moises Caicedo, who is essentially the person that needs a break at some point, and we're hoping that Asugo can be that player again, that magic phrase, if he can stay fit after his return from surgery. It'll be very interesting to see what's offered for Wharton. He's obviously a very sought-after talent. He is a heartbeat of Crystal Palace's midfield. He's a very, very talented player. Now, if it is closer to 60 million, then I can see Chelsea going in for him around that. But if it's close to 100 million, I just don't think Chelsea are going to spend it. And regardless if we've got reserves saved up, even if we do, I just don't think that they're going to waste all of it on Adam Wharton. They're going to want to improve other areas of the squad for sure, right? I mean, we're getting closer to January. We know international breaks. We have some wild reports. But, realistically, Chelsea are going to need to make some sort of signings, mainly outgoings, but some signings in January. Is Adam Wharton one of those? Well, apparently he's one of our top priorities. Does that mean we go spend 100 million? I personally don't think so, but 60 million, I'd be all over. So now we have an expanded report from Team Talk, and we now know, thanks to Tim obviously referencing the reports we reacted to months ago about Chelsea having reserves for the January window. Do you think it makes sense that Chelsea drop 100 M's? Would you drop 100 M's on him? Or do you think it makes sense if it's around 60 million? That is more of a figure that Chelsea are more likely to go for. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Fabrizio Romano has reported an exclusive. Didier Ordóñez to Chelsea, here we go. Agreement reached today for the 16-year-old talented defender to join Chelsea project. Independiente del Valle, I hope that's how you pronounce it, sorry if I've butchered it, accepted all conditions as Chelsea anticipate 3 top European clubs. The Ecuadorian will arrive in January 2028. He goes on to report that they've beaten 3 top European clubs to this signing, one of whom is believed to be Liverpool. He's currently 16 years old, so he will arrive at Stamford Bridge in January 2028. Antonio Mango has reported that Ecuador's best academy in recent years, Independiente del Valle, has crop of serious talent coming through. Twin brothers Holger Quintero and Edwin Quintero. Didier Ordóñez 2015, 2009 is another. Aggressive centre-back who's showing enormous potential in possession. Now, firstly, I want to apologise if I butchered any of the pronunciation. I've tried learning it before the video, so it's not like I'm trying to be lazy. I just suck at pronouncing names that I just can't get my head around, so I apologise if it's slightly wrong. Secondly, Chelsea finally signed a centre-back. It's just not a centre-back for the now. It's a centre-back for the future, which is what Chelsea love to do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know everything about Ordonez. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know everything about Ordonez. I can barely pronounce his name. However, I have done some research and I've looked into what Antonio Mango has said. Now, he is an under-23s scout. And he's been reporting on Denier for a little while, and what he's saying sounds amazing. And from what I have seen from the limited things, he looks like a top prospect. Chelsea could have another unbelievable gem on their hands here. Now, he does play centre-back and right-back. We're going to go over his positions in a second. Obviously, he is very, very young. He won't be coming to Chelsea till January of 2028. Obviously, the fees and everything hasn't been disclosed. I can't imagine it's a huge amount of money, but you never know until that actually comes out, which will probably be a little bit later down the line. But this is the same team that has produced the likes of Moises Caicedo as Kendry Payet. This is very exciting in terms of Chelsea having South American wonder kids. And look, if Caicedo is any standard to go by, if Kendry Payet is any standard to go by, we have got an absolute gem on our hands. So as you can see here, his main position is centre-back, and he can play left-sided or right-sided, and his other position is right-back, which is perfect for Enzo Maresca and the board's vision of having players that can play multi-roles within the system. So this is very interesting. He is very young. He is very young. We've still got to wait. This very much sounds like the Esteval signing, where you sign this youngster, this wonder kid, and then you have to wait so long to see them. Now, obviously, Esteval, the payoff was huge, because we were like, this kid is amazing. We were watching him grow at Palmeiras, knowing that he was coming to us after the Club World Cup. He scores a banger against us. But even prior to that, we were keeping tabs on this youngster and basically saying we can't wait to see him play in a Chelsea shirt. He's landed at Chelsea and he's living his best life with very limited minutes and is one of Chelsea's top scorers. He is a frightening talent and we are so lucky to have him. Hopefully, Denier follows in the same suit. He is going to be a player that we are going to see very limited things of because of his age. He's very young, unless he starts breaking through and playing a lot more games, which hopefully he does if he's such a big talent. And judging on what the scouts of Antonio Mango has been saying, where it's not just with him, with other players in and around South America, he looks like a top on-the-ball centre-back, someone who can play out from the back, someone who's physical, great in possession, something that Chelsea need. Now, obviously, we are planning for miles in the future here. We also need a centre-back right now, in my opinion, because of just the whole situation, unless we have some players that really step up or at least stay fit for long periods of time. But this is an exciting signing for Chelsea. It's not obviously the one that people want, and it's been quite interesting hearing and reading and seeing the reactions of Chelsea fans from across the sort of fan base, right? Because some pockets of Chelsea fans think this is incredible because it's obviously for the future and he does have a lot of talent and he's very highly sought after and he's very highly spoke about. You know, Liverpool are apparently one of the other clubs going in for him. So we know that he's got big clubs, you know, have his attention. And there's also a pocket of Chelsea fans not happy about the signing. And I'm a bit confused because it was the same stance that these fans had at the Esteval signing. But then as soon as Esteval comes in, and we see how he's developed beforehand and he comes to us and now they're saying he's one of his favourite players. So I understand that football fans can be very reactionary, we can flip-flop. With this, I'm very on the fence because he's a youngster. I don't know everything about him. I'm pretty much learning as you are as kind of knowing, if that makes sense. I've done some research and he looks like a top player, but he's still incredibly young and he has a long way to go. The fact that Chelsea have picked him up kind of, you know, showcases the network and the project that we are still working on, that we're constantly looking for, you know, South American wonder kids and just gems, young gems that we can bring through for the future as they constantly want to be, you know, strengthening that future. And from what we're seeing now of what was happening years ago with the likes of Esteval, with the likes of Paez, who's still on loan, but still had, you know, Andre Santos, who is now in the first team. Caicedo, I know that he obviously came across from the same club. Brighton obviously nurtured him and he's come to Chelsea for big money. We can really see that the vision is starting to take place. So hopefully, Ordonez is a player that fits into that role. And once he becomes 18, you know, we can obviously integrate him in and see what happens. Maybe he goes to Strasbourg for a few years after that to see the development. It's the same with Aaron Anselmino. Aaron Anselmino is a youngster, highly rated at Boca Juniors. We go snap him up. We've seen limited minutes of him. He looks fantastic. He's gone on loan. He's impressing there. And it looks like he's going to come back next season as well. And that could hopefully strengthen our centre-back position going into next season, which is wild to think about considering we're in November. But obviously, Chelsea are always looking into the future. So let's just hope that he is an unbelievable kid, basically another wonder kid that we've got on our books. Time will soon tell, but I am going to be trying to keep an eye on him as much as possible from what we can watch, just to kind of see how good he really is. But everyone is highly speaking about him. He's highly sought after by other clubs. Chelsea have managed to nip it in the bud, and Chelsea now have a new centre-back for the future. So let me know your thoughts and opinions down below regarding Linier Ordonez. I hope I pronounced that right, I really do. You guys grill me in the comments, and rightfully so. I am trying to get better at pronunciation of players I do not know. Do you think this is a good signing for the future? Do you know much about him? Do you know nothing about him? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Lou Class has reported breaking news. Chelsea are close to announcing a new front of shirt sponsorship deal with Oracle. The deal is expected to last until the end of the current season. Oracle will pay significantly less than the club initially expected. He continues to report that the Oracle deal is reportedly tied to broader investments by Clearlake Capital. And CFC Chronicle and Adam Williams have reported in exclusive that Chelsea are on the verge of signing the front of shirt sponsorship with Oracle. The deal is to be announced after the international break, likely on the eve of either Barcelona, 25th of November, or Arsenal matches, the 30th of November. Finally, Chelsea have a front of shirt sponsor. Now, of course, it hasn't been signed, sealed and delivered, but it looks very, very, very close. It looks like it pretty much has behind the scenes, but publicly it's not been announced other than this. Now, it's very interesting that they want to announce it before Barcelona or the Arsenal matches in terms of why we're not just announcing it. Why not we just saying, hey, deal's over the line, this is our sponsor, woo! People that have been holding off to buy your shirts, you can go buy them now because we have a sponsor. People that have bought one without a sponsor, it's up to you, what are you doing now? Regardless, I don't know what that tangent was, I apologise. Maybe it's purely because of the magnitude of the games and it's good publicity for the sponsor is kind of being announced in that way. Maybe it is that. Now, one thing I find very, very interesting is people are saying, or the reports are saying, that Oracle are paying significantly less than what Chelsea expected. And there is a perfectly good reason for this. It was previously reported, we reacted to it, that Chelsea were looking to sign a sponsor for this season for £45 million for the remainder of the season. Now, if you do the maths, I don't have the concrete maths, but, the assumption, the guesstimates is what I would call it. Chelsea wanted £60 million a season. We are now in November. Now, if they are paying £45 million a season, that's about £60 million a season if you take into account the games that have already been played. So, is it significantly less, or is it just on the surface of this season that we're taking significantly less than what we asked for? Does that make sense? Because I feel like £45 million from now to the end of the season is huge. It is huge because we're in November. We're in the middle of November. So, we have played a good chunk from August to now of the season. If we had it up and from August till now, it probably looks around 60 million. But regardless of that, it looks like it's going to be Oracle. Now, we knew that was heavily linked. It was obviously airlines. I think it was Riyadh Air, Qatar Airways. There were some talks of Apple and tech conglomerates, and they probably were sniffing around. But we also had reports that were reacted to that a lot of these companies walked out the door when Chelsea were asking for 60 million a season, which I find very weird considering we're the world champions. With our PR is in good position right now in terms of a club. We're not in turmoil. We seem pretty flat in terms of foundations, and we're building on it. Club World Cup would have done wonders for us as well, but hey, a lot of them weren't interested. Now Oracle coming in, we know that they were linked obviously with the Red Bull Oracle. The question was, is it going to be the Red Bull logo or the Oracle logo? Is it going to be the Red Bull Oracle Racing logo? I feel like it's just going to be Oracle, clean white text, just Oracle. That's what I feel like it's going to be. And it will look really nice, if I'm being honest. In terms of designing how it looks on the shirt, you could argue that the Red Bull logo will look good. A lot of you didn't like that. I think that would be pretty cool. Personally, I just like the Red Bull brand. I think it just looks nice. And it would be very contrast on the blue shirt. Even if they did the silver outline, that would look really, really clear, really, really crisp and clean. People were saying of Qatar Airways and Riyadh Air, they would have looked nice on the shirt. They feel a lot more space because of how it's designed. But look, it looks like we're going to have Oracle, and I'm actually over the moon that Chelsea are going to finally have a front of shirt sponsor. Now, of course, this deal is going to be to the end of the season, and there's going to be clauses in this in terms of extending this deal for a long term, because that's what Chelsea are after, long-term partnerships. Now, if we, win a few trophies or whatever it may be that's in this clauses, no doubt that Oracle want to extend their sponsorship. We know we have the 74 charges looming over Chelsea. We know that we have UEFA looming over us in terms of year on year having to profit the squad to fit their bill in terms of their regulations. So of course a few brands are going to be a bit wary, a bit cautious. I personally feel like the 74 charges won't amount to too much. It will probably just be a big fine. And I feel like that the UEFA regulations shouldn't be an issue because we've saved money in reserves. We did so well in the summer, and we're not really going to be going out and spending mad amounts of money like we have been in previous windows. So I feel like it's not null and void. It's still something that a brand has to be careful of. But Oracle have obviously stepped up and said, look, we're willing to sponsor you for the rest of the season. 45 million is extra revenue we just haven't had in the last few years. We had Infinite Athlete which was a company that Bowley set up to put money through for sponsorship. And then we had Damac for 7 games, which was like £7 or £8 million. That's it. Since their ownership. It's wild to think that something like this hasn't been sorted. Now, I do admire that the board have dug their heels in for such a long time to say we want the right deal for the right amount of money for the right amount of time. I respect that because they want to, you know, everyone talks about standards with this football club. That's their standards. We're not just going to sign to anyone just to get any old money in. We want it to be the right deal. So obviously, in their opinion, and with the negotiations that are going on, this is the right deal for Chelsea going forward. And there must be, you know, these are smart businessmen. There must be some sort of clause, like I said, of extending this for future partnerships where it will be worth a lot more money because it's for the entire season, not just for half or just over half a season. So this is huge news. Take bets with you in the comment section whether it's going to be Barcelona or Arsenal matches where it's announced. I'm going to say the Arsenal match, Premier League. I don't know why. I just feel like the Barcelona match maybe a bit too soon. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, it's going to be different because of the broadcasting, the way that the nights run, or, you know, the game days run. Maybe there's a little bit less time in the Champions League. Who knows? But in the Premier League, I feel like it's, I don't know, maybe more set up for it. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments about when you think it's going to be revealed, and also your thoughts about Oracle spending around £45 million to, you know, sponsor us for at least to the end of the season. Do you feel like this will just be a one-off thing, or will we have some clauses? Do you think Chelsea can achieve those to then have this go into a longer sponsorship? And also, if you're not happy with Oracle as your sponsor, let me know who you wanted as our Fofana shirt sponsor. And that's the latest Chelsea news. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that's been reported down below in the comment section. I love having a conversation with you guys. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I mean that, you're a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you're a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail because you'll enjoy that video too.